guys, this is Throttle On, and today we're going to be talking about our first motorcycles and reviewing the 2019 Honda GROM.
Yeah, so this is Molly's first motorcycle. This is a 2019 Honda GROM, and we'll be doing a full review of that, and Molly will be covering that. But I just was going to mention my first motorcycle was a 1987 Yamaha YSR 50. I'm not sure if anyone remembers a motorcycle like that, but it was a little two-cycle engine that Yamaha made, and I think from the mid 90s to like the early or mid 80s to the early 90s. It was a fun little bike. I had that motorcycle when I was about 14. It was about a little bit smaller than this bike, but it was a fun motorcycle to ride around. Like she said, we're going to be reviewing this 2019 Honda GROM and kind of why we picked it out as Molly's first motorcycle. This is a good beginner bike. Molly will be going over the different aspects of it, and we'll take it for a little test ride, and hope you all enjoy it.
Alright, so right now we're looking at the 2019 Honda GROM. It's a 125cc with an air-cooled, fuel-injected motor. It weighs around 230 pounds. It has a 5-speed transmission, and we've gotten it to go around 55 miles per hour. It holds 1.5 gallons of fuel, and it gets around 134 miles per gallon. To buy a new model right out the door, it's going to be about $3,800 without ABS, and to get it with ABS, you're looking at around $200 more added onto that original price. And to buy it used, you can get it for around $2,800. So that's the specs for this 2019 Honda GROM, and let us know if you have any questions in the comments section, and we're about to go take it for a test drive. Hey, this is the test drive for the 2019 Honda GROM, and I guess we're just gonna see how it goes. Here's some of the things that I do like a lot about the Honda GROM is I do like its look a lot. I do like kind of just the way it's laid out. It's definitely a smaller bike, which it's fun to drive on, having a smaller sort of feel. It's easier to do things, easier to get around. The suspension on this bike is also really soft, so that's something that's good to know. I mean, I like that, but I guess it's preference. I think this is a really good beginner bike, mainly because it's pretty hard to do anything to yourself on it, because it only goes 50 miles an hour, so even starting out, it obviously doesn't accelerate that quickly. So if you're just starting to learn, this is a really good bike to start on. It's the one that I started on, obviously, and I didn't think I had too much of a hard time learning on it. I felt like it was pretty good. So this bike has dual disc brakes. There's brakes in the front and brakes in the rear. It doesn't have ABS, so sometimes that can be a little bit fun. I find turning on this bike to be a bit harder, but I don't know. I think that's just my personal thing. I find it harder to turn on standards. And it just has really small tires, so that can sometimes make it a little bit more difficult than it needs to be, but maybe that's just me. So I think this is a really good bike to start on because you can get a lot out of it. It's not that expensive. It's not going to be detrimental if you laid over or anything. It's not going to kill you if it's your first time and you don't really know what you're doing, because you're not going to get a lot of power out of this thing. It's pretty small. It's also not too heavy, so that's another good thing. Like, I've laid this bike over once before when I was trying to make a U-turn on my street, and I could get it up by myself, and I'm pretty small. Whoa, there's a fire truck. Alright, so as far as like the ergonomics go, it's a very straight up bike. So when you're sitting on it, you're not going to be hunched over or anything. You're not leaning forward any. It's definitely not shaped like a sports bike at all. You're looking at more of just a standard, just straight up and down. My knees, I'm a bit tall for a female. I'm about 5'9", and my knees are pretty high up on this thing. So if you're probably like 5'10" or up, your knees are probably going to be pretty far up on here. But it's definitely not bad. Like, I don't notice it. And I personally like being closer to the center of the bike. It helps with turning and stuff. So being this close and having my knees up isn't bad at all for me. I like these mirrors a whole lot. I don't know. I've always liked the more circular mirrors, and they're really easy to adjust. I haven't had any issues whatsoever with seeing anything around me. I like them. I don't know. Like I said, the acceleration rate, it's nothing special with, I don't know, it's just your standard little motorcycle that, I don't know, I thought it was a really fun one to ride on. It's still really fun for me to go around on. I mean, it's just small. It's just something that you can take anywhere, well, besides the highway. Some of the things that I don't particularly love about this bike is the fact that it doesn't have a gear indicator, which isn't super great. Especially for a new rider, because sometimes, I know one of the first times I was riding, I had my bike all the way up in 5th gear, which is as high as it goes, and I had just gone through a stop sign, and I tried to take off, and I thought that I had ran out of gas, when in all reality I just had the gear up too high and I had forgotten. So that's not really an ideal thing for a new rider. It's another thing that isn't super great is that in my personal experiences, and I'm sure with many other people, this is a bike that you can definitely outgrow very quickly, because it is just so small. Being a 125, I believe it's a 1-cylinder, and it's just, it only gets up to 55 really pushing it. You're not really going to be able to go anywhere too quick on this bike. So as a younger rider as well, I know that this was also another good bike for me to start on, because it is under the 250 range. And with that, in some states it is illegal for a minor to have a bike over 250. So that might be something you want to look into when buying a new bike as well, is how old are you, because yeah, and what the laws are in your state, because sometimes, well, at least where I'm at, I couldn't get anything bigger than a 250. So this was, and especially it being smaller than that, I think it was just a great bike to learn on, especially considering like I'm a smaller person. So if you're like a younger new rider and you're a little bit smaller and like, I don't know, you're just not big, it's very easy to handle. So even if you're older and you're a new rider, I still do recommend it, because you want something that if you drop it, or if it falls on top of you, or if you're starting off and you, I don't know, let out on the clutch, it's not going to throw you forward, or you pull the throttle too hard, you're not going to fall back. You want something that's going to be just right. Alright, so we're going to pull over here in a little bit, take a look at some more of the features on the motorcycle, and just check it out. Let us know if y'all have any questions about the GROM, or what you think about it, or just anything you want to say down in the comment section. Alright. Does anybody else have a GROM? Tell us what you think. Love to hear from you. So this is the 2019 Honda GROM. So if we look at the dash, right here we can see this is the speedometer, this is our tachometer, and this is our fuel gauge. And we have the time right here and our total miles on it. We put around 570 on it. And right here we have the horn that I was talking about in the blinker. This is how you would work that. And it shows up on the dashboard right there. You can do it this way, and to stop it you just push in. And then for the brights, we have it here. And then this is our kill switch and our start. That's kind of what it sounds like. On this side we have front brake, and then our clutch, back brake, and our shifter. And then throttle. That's kind of what the engine sounds like. A little bit growly. This is what our back blinkers look like. Everything's pretty standard. It's pretty normal, basic motorcycles what you're looking at. They do have back pegs, so you can bring a passenger if you want on this, although it's probably going to go pretty slow if you do that. I know for me, when I first saw this bike, one thing I really liked about it was the forks up here. I thought that was a really cool aspect. It really sticks out for me. I don't know, I really loved the front of this. It has kind of like a smaller head, and I don't know, everything else is pretty standard with the lighting, except for I feel like that's a bit different, kind of cool. Another thing is these pop up, you tip it over, so that's good. Another thing I liked, especially when I was just first finding out this motorcycle or whatever, is the keys, you know, it stays there, and then when you push this button, it goes in. I thought that was really cool, and it just pops out. I don't know. That was a fun feature for me. Alright, we're gonna head back out, and I guess we'll go from there. You can tell the suspension's really soft. Like, pushing it forward, it moves a lot. And then you can see it doesn't have a very high acceleration rate looking at this. So I'm like hitting it hard right now, and it's really not getting anywhere too quick. It's just, it's a pretty slow motorcycle, but it's really fun to just go around on. Yeah, it's fun to just go around town, kind of, I don't know, it definitely gets you places, and it's definitely great to just kind of like practice on, get your go, but I do know that I kind of wanted something a little bit bigger after riding on this for a while. So eventually I kind of do want something a little bit bigger than this one, just because, you know, I've gotten pretty used to riding on it, and I just want to try out something new. Do you guys have any suggestions on what type of motorcycle I should get next? I'm kind of in the market for one right now, something a little bit bigger than this, maybe like a 250. I'm still not of age where I live to get anything bigger than that. Okay, well, that about wraps this test ride up, and thank you for watching, and let me know what kind of bike I should get, I guess.